All right, Richard Moseley, Bayer, UK. Thank you, Richard, for being so spontaneously and joining in for the talk.
No, pleasure.
Cool. How did COVID-19 hit you at Bayer? You personally, how did you experience it?
Well, a whole real series of emotions, really, and also new ways of working. I mean, for the likes of myself, who's home-based, then it's not too much of an issue. We don't get out, we don't see our customers and our distributors as we were doing before. But they've also moved on to a home-based system as well. So the communication lines stay open. We're having clear and concise information passing from distributor back to ourselves at Bayer. And in the UK, we've got the Bayer Pest Solutions team, and that's designed to support not only distributors but professional pest controllers wherever they are, UK or further afield. And that's not necessarily just supported them with issues about Bayer, it's supporting them with any pest control support, guidance and advice that we possibly can. So I think, like the rest of the world, it's a fast learning curve when it comes to COVID-19. But of course, pest controllers are always at the centre of this kind of thing, because whatever is happening, and I've experience of the foot and mouth disease over 20 years ago up in the north of England. Whatever's happening, whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, from a pest control point of view, whatever the situation is around you, pest activity and pests can make a difficult situation much, much worse, be that for people who are living in the homes, be that people who are working on production lines, trying to keep food manufacturing going, be those hospital scenarios, school scenarios, all these essential services that are managing to keep open and courageously working through the COVID-19 situation at the moment. Pest activity can make every situation much more difficult, much more testing, and can either shut down a production line, shut down a hospital, or shut down a school if you've got the wrong level of pest activity. So we're here to support, we're here to guide, we're here to make sure that our products are available, and we're maintaining product supply, those kind of things, and we're keen to do so, and we're confident we will do. So we continue to work hard and support the pest industry whenever and wherever we can. And if people have those difficult questions and awkward conversations, we're here to have them. And we remain here to have them throughout the COVID situation and beyond.
Mm. I know, for me, having Bayer as such a multinational corporate in our industry is something I think we all can be very thankful for. I know you guys are not only responsible for bringing so much products into the pest management world, but you also are a large information hub. And I know you're an actual partner for your distributors and the pest managers that are working with your products. So a big thank you for that, definitely. And also my question would, of course, be distribution channels, Richard. I mean, Is it an issue? Do you see that the distribution to the pest manager of them getting your products, is there some sort of blockage somewhere in there? Or some distributors currently, did they stop working? Did some of the clients or the distributors stop working? Is there some lockdown, some effects that you feel where the regular distribution of your products towards their application at an end client, be it a farm or a supermarket or a food side, is there some change in that situation?
To be honest, at this moment, no. I mean, in the UK, we work with two key distributors. They are managing to maintain supply. They both have sales teams that are busier than ever. They're working from home, but they're maintaining really, really good contact and strong contacts with the pest controller, their pest control customers. A lot of it's on the phone or via Skype or whatever. But they're probably speaking to more customers than previously, because they've got the time to do that, and they've got the time to have those conversations. So both distributors that we work with, our key distributors, Baratide and Killgerm, they're maintaining good product supply. They're obviously facing pressures in other parts of the business regarding disinfectants and PPE,
yes,
as is the rest of the world, to be perfectly honest. But from a product supply, from a pest control point of view, then we've not really seen an issue, if I'm being perfectly honest. The one thing that we are trying to do as Bayer, with the support of our distributors, is just to try and get some information out there to professional pest controllers about the benefits of using the right formulation or using the right product at this moment in time. Because one of the things that we have to accept is that professional pest controllers aren't necessarily getting the access that they wish to sites. And there's a number of reasons for that. That may be because the sites are shut. It may be because the sites, domestic sites, houses, things like that, where people don't want workmen, pest controllers accessing at the moment. And then we've also got some production sites, food production sites, are working harder and faster than ever to maintain product supply in the current situation. So there's a number of issues there. And from a Bayer perspective, with the formulation technologies that we have, offering long palatability or long residuality, then for pest controllers who are really struggling to get access to sites, it may just give them a bit of an edge if they use the right products in the right location regarding long-term control, because they don't necessarily know when they're going to get access back into those sites. So the right product in the right place can provide a real service to professional pest controllers and really support them in the delivery of the pest control services.
Good point. Yeah, good point there. I mean, how do you deliver these information? I'm thinking about some, especially in the UK where you are based and where is your key responsibility for your market. As I learned, is I always read about some sort of resistancy, etc. So basically, rodents in large areas of the UK being resistant to some active ingredients, etc. How do you? This is exactly the point, of education that you just addressed. How do you? How do you transport that information about what formulation or active ingredient to use best for the various sites now during these digital times, remote or shutdown times? Do you offer e-learning? Did you change your course towards communication with your partners?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point. Before the current situation we're in, then we'd work with our distributors, we'd work with the trade bodies in the UK, and we'd attend the various events and stand there and educate and speak at them. Now, you can't do that now. But by maintaining good contact with the likes of the trade bodies, BPCA, MPTA, as well as the distributors, they're all striving to run online events, webinars, group conferences, those kind of things. So the one thing that we do, and we've always done, is we make ourselves as available as we possibly can to take an active role in those, and support, whether it's a distributor, whether it's a trade body, support them as well as we possibly can, and be there to pass on the information and so use those recognised and respected organisations within the pest industry to help get the message across. And then we're also in the process of developing our own webinars and whatnot, where we can start to update and give people the right level of information. And as I say, we're also very good at getting our information out there. Generally, we've got strong websites. We Twitter. We use as many different formats as we possibly can to get our message out there, to get the information out there. And importantly, get the information back as well, because obviously the more information that you get back from the market, whether it's whatever particular pests are being a problem at this moment right now, then the better you can tailor the information that you're passing through, but also the product supply as well. You can start to have an educated understanding and an educated guess about what you really need to be making available for the marketplace in the next weeks, months, and going forward, potentially the rest of the year. So, it's not just a one-way street. It's not just Bayer throwing information out there. We really want the information coming back as well, because I've been in pest control a long time, but I still learn something new every day. So it's only by getting the information back from the professional pest controllers that we educate ourselves, and then we learn a piece of information, and then we can we disseminate that through to the rest of the industry with the work that we do. As I say, it might be on our own terms, it might be with the support of a distributor, or it might well be to support one of the trade bodies in the UK. It doesn't really matter as long as we're out there and people know we're available.
Couldn't agree more, Richard. I mean, communication is key, and how you communicate. I mean, there are various different channels. Some people like Facebook groups for pesties. Some people read Pest Magazine. I've seen your great article in Pest Magazine, our partners. So, I think just spreading the word out there from a helping hand from you as a manufacturer of products that are widely used in the industry is something that the industry needs. And I think what I'm always asking my interview partners is, do you think the perception of pest management is going to change because of COVID. I mean, talking about key industry, I mean, all around Europe, as we know, pest managers are now assigned key workers, key industry. Everybody that are always comparing it to some, I don't know, consumables like a clothing shop or something that has been very hip place to work also for younger people, nowadays probably shut down or facing issues near towards bankruptcy. Do you think pest management as a vital part of our society and ecosystem for human health is changing the perception of pest management for young people out there looking for a job and maybe facing unemployment?
Yeah, I mean it's a good point. I'd like to think so. For many years, before I worked with Bayer, I worked for one of the trade bodies in the UK, and actually elevating the status of the professional pest controller was something that we always strive to do. I think in situations like this, if we're not careful, the impact and the importance of pest managers is lost in the general, and in some cases, understandably. And it's really the role of, whether it's Bayer, whether it's the trade bodies, to really keep the message going, which is one of the reasons that I did write the article that you mentioned, is just to highlight the importance of professional pest controllers. The problem is they're only really important when you really, really need them. And that is part of the problem. But people need us far more than they expect and far more than they know. And we're involved in far more of the preventative aspect of the industry than people will ever know. But because you don't see that, you don't realise how important the pest control industry really is. Yeah. So if something positive is to come out of COVID, I would like to think that it does elevate the status of our industry. And I think, if I'm being perfectly honest, the industry probably has to look at itself and be keen and confident in elevating its own status. We need to be strong in the way that we describe ourselves, the way that we describe our services. We are very well trained. We've got good levels of understanding, and also we're using more and more technology, those kind of things. So we're just not simply the person who's putting something down to kill something anymore.
Exactly.
We are a technical, well-educated, positioned and hard-working part of the industry that keeps the rest of the industries, whether it's food, whether it's hospitality, whether it's nursing. We've got an influential part in all of those industries. So it would be nice if our status was elevated at the end of this. I think it should be. I think that depends on us really, and as an industry, how we come together and how we work together to maintain our status in the current situation, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Before I ask my final question, which would be what new products is Bayer up to, because everybody's looking at your new product launches, etc., and I'm curious as well, as always. But looking at growth in the pest management industry, to reference to your earlier point on the perception of pest management, the bigger pest control companies grew a lot through mergers and acquisitions, so inorganic growth, basically. Now they stopped, per press release, stopped their mergers and acquisitions. Basically, what's up now is, what's on the schedule right now is incremental growth, so organic growth by working incremental with the clients you have, or getting some new clients for new sales activities. I think per the perception of pest management, also in reference to how we deal with our clients, in the past 10, 20 years, I think we had a downward spiral when it comes to price development of the service technician. And I'm really hoping that this development of perception of pest managers, maybe not of the general public, but of our clients, let's say farmers, hospitals, bars, pubs, supermarkets, food sites, farmer sites. I hope that perception is getting now, as we're assigning key workers, and some of them printed certificates. You please still visit our sites. We need you. Hopefully that is going to change that downward trend towards maybe elevating that also margin game that pest management companies are working on, because indeed people need to get paid, and with inflation and maybe even more inflation driving down margins, I'm hoping that our sector is really getting what it deserves. Years. Maybe your point, quick reaction to that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly from a Bayer perspective, we we reach out to the food industry and those kind of organisations, and we've done some good research in the past with the likes of the British Retail Consortium, where we've looked at, what does the food industry need from the pest controllers and vice versa. So this is some work that we did over the past couple of years. And if you categorise and look at the views of the two different sets, whether it's the professional pest controller and the people who are managing these food manufacturing sites, pest controllers presume that the most important thing regarding these food manufacturing sites may be the price. But that's not what the food manufacturers tell us with the data that we've received. And this was UK and US data. And they don't necessarily like the price moving a great deal, but what they really are interested in is level of service delivery. So they never put price as the most important thing. And things like that, again, it comes down to the pest control industry really understanding what the end user customer needs. And I think those are the kind of situations where we can help by bridge the gap between the two and be something that's slightly independent in the middle, if we're being perfectly honest. So I think as the pest industry, we need to be strong and accept that price is important, but it's not the main driver. And certainly as we come out of the current situation that we're in with COVID, then whether it's things like remote technology or those kind of things that might have been a nice to have before the situation we're in now, but as we come out of COVID, be it in 3-6 months or whenever, then that ability to manage sites remotely could become more and more important as we learn a lesson from where we are right now. And again, we've got this limited access, whether it's through production or through limited means because sites are shut. Then in those kind of situations, then we see that potentially some of these digital developments may become more important. And I think ultimately they elevate the status of the professional pest controller, because it's almost another skill. They're not simply the person who's coming down baiting and putting rodenticide or insecticide down anymore, but they are educated, technically competent person who's using a lot of digital technology, wireless technology, digital report management, all these kind of things that actually they start to build the reputation of the professional pest controller and make them a far more useful tool in the eyes of the end user customer, be it the food site, be it the hospital, because they're providing far more than just a basic service. It's the level of digital information and those kind of things, and the level of reports, trend analysis, those kind of things that are being generated and managed by the professional pest controller. So I think one of the outcomes of the situation we're in at the moment is that those kind of digital technologies, be it rodent monitoring or whatever, they'll become of more interest, they'll become of more importance, and because of that, then that will ultimately and inevitably elevate the status of the pest controller in the eyes of their customers and the end users who probably learning something from this process themselves, where the more support, the more access, the more detailed information that they receive from the pest controller, the stronger their position is in these kind of situations where no one saw this coming, but we could now start to future-proof pest control by putting some additional controls in place that mean if God forbid we ever have another situation like this again, then we've got a very interesting and comprehensive level of control management on site, and we've got far more access to digital knowledge about the site and digital access to plans and systems and rodent management control.
Yeah, very strong point, Richard. I think it was really important for also for our viewers, and interesting to hear your point of view on that. And I think it's also will play a vital role. And I think it takes us, what we're getting in the end is more data. And as we are evolving ourselves, as you said, we're probably taking that data and making some good stuff out of it. Trend analysis, and reports and forecasts and
Yeah.
whatnot, you name it. And also the level of support for a site is getting from, let's say, 2-3 minutes per box to 24 hours per day, which could elevate, of course, the service quality of what we do and the perception of what we do, for sure. Yeah, very strong point. And of course, what we would like to know also would be what is Bayer's strategy. My last point, as I said, was I would love to ask about maybe new product development, any new strategies of you when it comes to products and new product launches. Maybe people are always looking at you guys for some new innovations. But maybe as you talk so much about digital, and I know Bayer did something digital with digital remote control in the US. I don't know, maybe you can tease us with a little bit about that and give us a little bit of a hint of what's might come of Bayer within the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, I think, certainly if you look at our colleagues in the US, then they're doing an awful lot with digital. It's up, it's running, it's a system that people can go and have a look at and purchase. And certainly that's something that we're learning from a UK, European perspective. And we're certainly looking to where we can incorporate those technologies into the way that we deliver our pest control services from a chemical and also a digital point of view. So there's a lot of learnings to take from our colleagues in the US, but it's certainly something that, as from a Bayer perspective, as we get more controls over pesticides, insecticides, registrations become more difficult, then it's a sensible area for the likes of Bayer to be looking into, and we've got the benefit of the support of our team in the US where the system's up and running. So yeah, it's certainly something that we're very keen to look into and find out a little bit more about, and take that forward where we can from a UK European perspective potentially. But at this moment in time, we take our learnings from our colleagues in the US where it's available and it's free for people to go and take a look at. But hopefully it's something that we'd like to work with going forwards. But that's not to take away from the chemical aspect of our business, which is still incredibly important. And it's there to support pest controllers from a chemical point of view. We've very recently launched 2 new products, an insecticide and a cockroach gel. And one of the things that we have been talking about comprehensively is how those 2 formulations, which is Chaophrin Partix and Maxforce Platin, can be incredibly useful at this moment in time for professional pest controllers. Yeah. The insecticide Partix is 12 weeks residuality on all surfaces because of the technology within the formulation. And the cockroach bait can be palatable for up to 12 months after application. Mm-hmm. So if we think about the context where you might not know when you can next access the treatments that you're carrying out because of the various problems that we have at this moment in time, then an insecticide with 12 weeks residuality and a cockroach bait with up to 12 months palatability, quite useful products at this moment in time if you're struggling to get access into these various locations because you just don't know what the situation will be from day to day, week to week, from lockdown, what sites are open, what aren't. So the chemical side of the business can really offer the professional pest controllers some support right now, just because, and both of these are, brand new formulations, brand new technology within the formulations, and they've come at just the right time to offer support for pest controllers in the current scenarios.
Yeah. And I've my parents also worked in pest control. I still know the days where we've been fogging against cockroaches, and I'm just gotta say super thankful for Bayer to have put these innovations out in the market. I mean, cockroach gels being super efficient, which the facts that you just added. I mean, it's no brainer that these products are highly efficient, and I think it's for the industry, it's we just can be thankful to have these. So I think. Yeah. When we're talking about digital and sustainability and all of that, I think also for a company like you, where the main focus is still going to remain chemistry, we really got to highlight that we're always talking about a toolbox and a set of products that can be, as an addition to the existing product range that you already have. So when I talk to Bayer staff and your peers from France or wherever and Germany, it's funny how the mentality really changed, because all of you are incredibly putting so much focus also on sustainability of things, because obviously in the new world where green and other buzzwords are not buzzwords anymore, but with climate change are actual problems and challenges that we're facing also in our little industry of pest management. So for me personally, that grew up with Bayer as a chemistry company, now looking at what you also have to offer in the US with digital innovations and thinking about sustainability and more green biocides, insecticide, pesticides, bring into the market. It's of course, it's quite funny to see that, and so eye-opening, but at the same time so logical. So I think there's a lot of pride also when I speak to your peers from other countries. A lot of pride in your eyes when you guys are talking about all these things, because I think you can be proud about not just being so flexible as such a large corporate business, from reassessing what you've been doing for the past decades and looking towards the future. I think you could really be acting as a role model there for industry with the reassessment that you're doing for your business.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. I mean, I think one of the things to remember going forward, and I think something that we'll all have to learn is, whether it's technology or chemistry, it's not either or. The two really do need to complement each other, and whether it's the targeted delivery of the rodenticide or the targeted delivery of the insecticide, the better development of the spray technology. It doesn't, whatever it is, the two will complement each other going forward. And the way that I feel about it is that the more we can put technology into the way that we actually use or apply pesticides or digital management or whatever, then not only does one support each other, but also one helps to encourage the life of the other. So, the more targeted application of insecticides, pesticides, rodenticides is always going to be of more and more importance as we go further and further into the future. So if we can start to future-proof our chemistry with the use of technology, then that becomes of vital importance, not just for Bayer, but for all the people who and professional pest controllers who constantly rely on our products to deliver the solutions that they do. We want to make sure that they deliver those solutions in 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, 100 years. And technology will have to make a part in that. The use of more technology will protect the chemistry. Because we can be more targeted with it, and that means we're more efficient with it. We've got a better environmental profile with the formulations, that kind of thing. And it means going forward, we the service delivery is strong in whichever aspect of the business that we're concentrating on.
Mm-hmm. And I've also, by the way, I really loved the term future-proof pest management. I think that's definitely going to become the title of this video interview. But I really like what you just stated, which basically also when I'm talking to your peers, we always talk about the IPM pyramid. Basically, the bottom stands for integrated pest management. Proofing, hygiene. Yeah. We have mechanical control, physical control. Maybe. Some low potency chemicals, and then we have the toxins and the rodenticides, pesticides, insecticides. So basically all sorts of biocides at the very top of the pyramid. Yeah. We've always at our CEPA work and the associations, we've seen that with the resistances and the residue of these products sometimes in the environment, that sometimes the pyramid was rather not really a pyramid anymore, but maybe standing. Yeah. For some companies, always acting, of course, responsibly for their company. So it's it's not nobody to blame really, because every scenario is different. But I think, as you just stated, I think all of these tools, be it a digital reporting system that delivers more data, a digital device that helps us to control its site 24/7 and reports data again back to the service provider, helps people and your clients and partners to use these biocides that can be so powerful in pest management more responsibly and more effectively, right? With a lower impact to the environment, probably.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what you also have to take into account is there are always regulatory pressures. From a registration point of view, be it biocides or whichever process that you're going through. So if you can show within that regulatory framework that you actually are considering the delivery of the product, and you're being far more careful, the way that you're managing the product. It's not just the registration of the product. It's the understanding of the way that it's going to be delivered in a more concise and a more precise way. Then that has got to help through the registration process as well. So it's taking it's taking responsibility, I think, around the product for the way it will be managed, the way it will be delivered, and ultimately working with partners to really give the professional pest controllers the best tool to deliver the best products, and whether that's application manufacturers, application equipment manufacturers, specialist access equipment, those kind of things for particularly difficult Asian hornet situations, or all these kind of things. It's working with working with these organisations that understand the delivery of the product, and we understand the ability of the product. So when you put the two together, then you've got quite a strong bond there, and you've got quite a strong method of application that's planned and has gone through a process, and it's gone through a learning process. So working with partners is important because they have certain capabilities and technologies and understandings that you may not, and we're developing the best products. So by working with the two, then you really do give ultimately the professional pest controller the best chance of success, and that's what it's all about, really. Doing it in the most safe and efficient way, and the most regulated way, but still giving them the best opportunity to control the target species with the minimal amount of product and in the fastest possible time frame.
Yeah. Super. Richard, I got to say, thank you so much for the talk. Really interesting. And I really want to revisit our discussion in the next couple of months, if I may, because I think it's extremely important for all of our viewers out there to see what is happening with Bayer. You're really in a revolution right now. So many new products, so many new thoughts, and also in sustainability. I think revisiting our pest industry in the next couple of months, also during maybe still COVID times, would be extremely interesting. So thank you so much.
No, very, very happy to do so. Thank you very much.